Hi class, this is Brooke and this is my drawing of a nephron here. So for urine formation, the first step is filtration. So blood will flow in through an artery into the glomerulus here within the Bowman's capsule. And the glomerulus endothelium is very porous. So fluid, waste products, ions, glucose, amino acids, it passes through depending on how fast the blood is flowing and the pressure. The blood cells and proteins are too big to go through the pores here, so they travel through the efferent arteriole into the peritubular capillaries towards the vasa recta. So they would come through the efferent arteriole and go into here. So up here, the would now be called filtrate, as it's in the Bowman's capsule. It's going to go through this winding tube called the proximal convoluted tubule, or a PCT, and here is where 65% of the reabsorption takes place, and it reabsorbs water, sodium, amino acids, and the glucose that flew through there, so that we don't lose them in our urine. We want to reabsorb them here, and that's why we have the peritubular capillaries all winding around here to reabsorb all those nutrients and molecules. So the filtrate travels through the PCT, which has the cuboidal epithelial cells that have big mitochondria that can make ATP to pull those ions back in via active transport. So then the filtrate goes through and enters down here the loop of Henle, or nephron loop, depending on which term you like better. And the ascending limb pumps salts into the, so where is it here? So if we're coming this way, this side here, the ascending limb pumps out salts and chloride and potassium through active transport, which makes a very salty interstitial fluid down here in the medulla, which then means as filtrate comes down here down the descending limb of the nephron loop, water will passively transport out, so that this is called the countercurrent multiplication factor. So one side is pumping out a bunch of salt to make it salty in the medulla, so the filtrate comes through and it passively pushes out all that water, so we're not losing that in our urine as well. So the filtrate will go down through and back up, and right here in the loop of Henle is where we have the vasa recta. I have colored purple, which is going to help reabsorb. These are capillaries, peritubular capillaries, that are going to help reabsorb all those nutrients and water that is being excreted here. So then it would go up into the distal convoluted tubule, which is there is just a little bit of reabsorption taking place here of sodium and chloride, and it passes right here through by the efferent arteriole. In this moment right here is actually called the juxtaglomerular apparatus, which helps blood pressure control. So anyway, the filtrate goes through. We have our little bit of reabsorption here in this distal convoluted tubule, goes down into the collecting duct. And here in the cortex, we have our last reabsorption of water. And then down in the medulla of where the collecting duct is, we have reabsorption of urea, which helps maintain our osmolarity. And that's how urine is formed.